think I'm sharing it. But anyway, so yeah, Starmer has resigned, and basically now we are on a hunt for the next prime minister. And I think it's been about six now, in about 10 years, the prime ministers we've had in the UK. Liz Truss being, I think, the shortest served, about 40 days or something, or 50 days as a prime minister when she crashed the bond market. And now we are on a hunt for a new prime minister. There's Burnham, who wants to be the next successor, but the Labour Party is basically challenging him, as you can see here, and trying to avoid him to become the prime minister. So I guess they're going to have a cabinet meeting to decide. They had one today with Starmer, and they're going to probably decide who will be the next one. But I just doubt they're going to survive the next election, which is, I think, in a couple of years. Um, so yeah, that's all going on here. And what this headline just makes me laugh. Why does Britain keep changing prime ministers? And yeah, that's been the case. Is the pound? If you look at it, uh, fundamentally, it's moving a lot because of the political situation in the UK, and we've not had a stable prime minister for many years now. It's almost a decade now. Uh, but yeah, that's the thing in the UK. That is why the pound had strengthened yesterday on the back of when he announced his resignation, and elsewhere in the world. So the CAD CPI finally has come out higher than expected, which I was expecting, but the last two had come out weaker than expected, which is a bit odd because everything is going up, the prices of oil and all the other goods as well. So it was about time this came in higher. So it is coming higher, but the CAD is still weakened. And today we had the flash manufacturing PMI. So Germany is really struggling again, and it has come out below the expected result. I don't know why it is orange now, because it used to be red. Um, no idea what has happened to that setting over there on Forex Factory calendar. And UK as well is kind of slightly struggling. The services is okay though; it's not so bad. But the flash, the manufacturing is okay, but we don't really produce much. But the flash is the concerning one because it's come out below 50. So that's not kind of good for the UK. And then we have for the US later on. So just keep an eye on that. It could cause, to be honest, this should be red flag news because you might have seen it before. It was all red flag when the flash manufacturing comes out. Tomorrow you have Aussie CPI, and that is around 4.3%. Well, the forecast is saying is basically gone up, which is year on year. And I'll show you some setups that look quite good on the Aussie that I'm also looking forward to. And the employment is followed by that on Thursday. And you have some GDP figures coming out for the US. And to end with, you have the core CPI for Tokyo, so Japanese yen. And that's going to be quite important because of where the yen is at the moment. And if it is basically increasing like on the forecast as it shows, then the yen could even strengthen as they have hinted for rate hikes in the future, but not at the moment. But they have done the rate hike in the last meeting, and they have brought it up to about 1%. Um, Zoe says because they are all shit. Yeah, I do agree. I mean, they, they kind of rise up and they promise all these things. And this is, I guess, not just UK, but everywhere else, even in India, where I'm from. All the local MPs, they promise you all these things. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. And then when they come into power, they suddenly disappear and they do whatever they like. And then they have excuses not to do what they had promised. Um, but yeah, that's the world we are living in right now, Zoe. Devil says, still in London for the time being. Yes, I mean, the war has kind of like erupted again with Israel being the main culprit there. So no idea. And just one thing I just want to tell you guys is like I wouldn't trust Forex Factory News because I saw a post the other day where one of the comments where uh, on one of the news tweets or whatever it is, there was a guy who posted like screenshots of Forex Factory News and the actual news that comes out on publications, and like half of the stuff wasn't even on there. So then the comments followed on that pictures on the screenshots was like, well, yeah, Forex Factory is probably getting paid to get manipulated for because a lot of retail traders follow this. But when you look at the actual news, like some of it is not even there, like all these small comments that basically moving the markets. Um, and yeah, so just be careful with what you take into consideration when you are looking at these tweets and updates over here because sometimes they can be even fake news because we have seen that you know Trump is going to say something and then soon Iran counters that, and that's not the way you want to trade. Like you don't want to follow all these small updates because clearly it's done to manipulate the market. And that is why I don't really focus on this news and even other publications. I keep an eye on what's going on, but I have a clue anyway when I look at the charts when it is moving because I can kind of tell if something big is coming out. The currencies will move a lot, and when I go on the calendar, then I can see it like it's been delayed as well, so you don't really see it, and the move is already done. So just be careful what you absorb in your head. I definitely wouldn't trust Forex factory calendar news, but the only thing I keep an eye on, mostly which I pay attention to a lot, is the calendar because that is forecasted and it's already there planned and it is what you are expecting to come out because it's not just like a random comment and then gold suddenly shoots up or like a dollar suddenly moves down. So just be aware of that. And I would say if you're consuming some kind of news, go to maybe Reuters, Al Jazeera. There's a lot of publications out there uh, that you can look at. So I have got into a trade which I shared to you in the forum, which I'll come to in a minute. But I'll go through some of the setups that we have for the week ahead. And we'll start off with dollar Swissy. So, like I was saying, in the past week, I was waiting for this breakout to happen, and then I would look to long. And at the moment, we have already broken out. So we have, I think, on the weekly as well. So we need a pullback into here around 81.20, I think it is, or 80.30, and then it could be a 50 pip stop. So wait for this higher low to be created, and you could enter on any rejection over here. Stop loss can go below over here, 70 odd pips, and the Swissy does look like it's really gonna shift the structure and go to the upside because I see the same pattern. If you look at the dollar Swissy, and let's look at the pound Swissy. They literally look the same. Pound Swissy has also broken out over here. And then there's another one I wanted to show you. I think it is Aussie Swissy as well. Look at Aussie Swissy. I'll show you this on a trading view because it makes it a lot more clearer. But basically, we have a bullish engulfing above this major area of resistance over here, which has held for about nearly over the year. So I'll come to that in a minute. But the dollar Swissy, the Swissy is basically looks like it's going to weaken now further going into the year for the rest of the year because it has broken a major range over here. And we're just looking for the pullback now to basically enter the trade. That's what I'm waiting on. And then Euro, we have broken out, but I need a pullback. It's in no man's land at the moment for me to take a shot. So I am going to wait for the pullback. That can be a forward order because currently it is about 125 pips away. and you could look to put your stop around in there, 70 odd tips, and your target can be about 300. So that's a really good trade, and it can be a forward order, M2, the pound as well. It did rise yesterday on the back of that news, but I still think because of the uncertainty, who will be the prime minister, this could go down further. So I'm waiting for any kind of pullback over here to short, and this is about 80 pips stop. Don't really care that it's 80 pips because the risk reward is great. It's about 300 on this one, and you will watch 130 to see if you can look for a long, because that will be a counter trend trade, but it's in a big area and a big whole number. So I do expect it to react and basically go back up from here. So two kind of opportunities in there. It's literally looking all the same. I think this euro also has these EMAs over here around 112. So 112 is big on the euro, where price has previously reacted many times. So keep an eye on the pound. I would favor the pound at the moment because you could take advantage of the political situation and really go with it. So wait for the pullback on that. Then the dollar CAD has just kept going, and that is okay. And that is what I was saying at the start of the week on Sunday when I posted my trade idea. I'm not so convinced yet about taking any positions on most of the pairs because I need them to pull back, or either they're stuck in an area where I want them to break out. So we are getting that, but there's a few pairs that look at really attractive to trade. And then New Zealand USD. So this is the area where the price previously reacted. So I wouldn't really counter trend trade, but you can look at his strategy and the way he's trading to look for a counter trend trade because it's not on the range, but there could be a reaction in here where we could look for a little retracement, but the price is bearish, so it's a higher risk. That's what I would say. Um, but have a look at the dollar index at the same time. Where is the dollar index? And the dollar index is basically coming up to a resistance of 101. Yes, it has broken the EMAs, but I think it has to get past this as well, because you can see this level here at 101.20 has been held quite strongly. So a reaction in here at 101 and a pullback into here, and then we could be set off for the dollar to go back up high. Because last week, as you know, the FOMC, the Fed meeting, I think Wash, he held the rates, and there is a chance they could even increase the rates because all the other banks are doing it. But we'll see what Trump says about that as well. He could be facing the pressure on his side as well. But as we know, the Fed and the government, they're both independent bodies, and they cannot, basically, Trump cannot um, decide what the interest rate is going to be. It's up to Wash, but we'll see what he does. AUD, so New Zealand, that's a forward order. AUD, the head and shoulder was there and it has broken, and then it did a little pullback, but ideally I like taking it on confirmations, and I didn't get that. So in the sessions I mainly look at, I mean, if you're looking at a forward order, that could be, I mean, a forward order there. uh, but I just prefer to wait sometimes for the trade to give me a signal in the London or US session, and I did not get that, so I did not take it last week. um, but the area to consider on this, 69. No, I wouldn't really long this at the moment. Dollar yen is, there was some intervention comments over there, but they looks like they're trying to resist the move going below, going above 161. The highest point, it literally matched it, 161.96. So they don't want to get it above 162. And I guess the buyers are kind of dying out over here. It's the weekly chart over here. On the daily, you can see the momentum is dying slowly. Then it broke out. But if you're looking at a pro trend trade kind of a thing, then this we don't know yet because there was a time in 2021, I think it was, the dollar yen was in the range over here at 107. And then it finally broke out, and we were just kept thinking, oh, they're going to intervene. And it kept going higher and higher. So I don't know if this could be the same pattern as this happening over here, and maybe the Bank of Japan kind of gives up for a bit and lets it just run because they have to spend billions to intervene in the forex market, as in they have to use their own currency to kind of hinder the move. But let's see what happens on that. So dollar yen, um, I wouldn't. It's very risky to long here. But if you are looking to trade the trend and you think there's a chance that it could just keep going higher, then just enter with a small risk. There's no problem in that. If you lose, then you won't lose much. So maybe less, like 0.25%. Um, Pound CAD has gone. I don't really want to get involved with it. Needs a big pullback into here. Um, Euro Aussie. So it would be interesting to short at 65.70, and it's a big stop. Um, so it could be something to watch on the shorter time frames. And even the shorter time frames are not really helpful. At the moment, it has come up over here above these EMAs. So it could be interesting to see if we can look to long. But this has made a new high here. So it needs a higher low and a high again to long. So it's something to watch on the shorter time frames. Euro New Zealand. So I was really disappointed in this one. I called it out last week and then I got into it on Friday because I got my confirmation somewhere in here on the 1 hour candle. So I entered it somewhere in here. And then I basically, for 6 hours, it basically went nowhere. And I closed it somewhere in here. And then the next hour, it just starts taking off. I was like, okay, I'm done for the week. I'm not trying to get involved now. So it was Friday as well. And then we did the pullback there, and it's going up. So that was about 140 odd pips. You could have got out of that if you had held a trade. But that's okay. I've just moved on to a different pair, and I'm looking at that at the moment. But that was a good trade. It's basically structure. If you learn to understand structure, all of the other things become very easy. So the price is above the EMAs as the first thing. Let me take it out. And I told you there was this inverted head and shoulder here. So that's a huge neckline there. And then, I mean, sorry, the head rightly is literally screaming at you. That's head and shoulder. Neckline over there, we had the breakout, high, low, and then the high was the basically the confirmation over there. So that was a good trade. Textbook with my strategy. And I'll show you one as well that I'm in at the moment. So that one is gone. So I would only kind of look if it comes back, but then that's a different trade. Pound Swissy. So this one, it has broken above the EMAs, and that is good because it's all cleared out over here. And now we can look to take a long over here, about 50 pip stop to basically take it back up. And this has a really good potential of about 500 pips. Not so optimistic just yet. I want to get too ahead of myself because you have to look where price has reacted in the past. And these areas over here, 108, 109. Look at the round numbers because I think this tends to stop at round numbers, but it, it can take its own sweet time to get up to the levels that you require. So, like over here, as you can see, it took a while to get up to here, and then this could also take a while to get up to those levels. So be patient with the Swiss pairs. They are slow. I mean, this one is probably the fastest moving one, about 50 pips. It's the range has moved down. It used to be about 60 or 70, but lately it has been moving a bit more. So that is good. But breakout pullback is what I need, and I'm going to look for a long on a confirmation. And then pound Aussie. So this one has broken above again, above the EMAs. Um, but I am not so convinced just yet. It's made a new high just like the Euro Aussie. So a pullback into here at 190.89.60, 70 pip stop, and you could look to take it back up. Uh, so that's a really good potential. And this is a pair I was looking to long last week because of this distance from here to here. And I think that's about 300, if I remember. Yep, 300. So I will have a look at this on the shorter time frames. I'm just experimenting with Earth and Sky on gold with the signals. Obviously, not taking literally every signal that it gives, but combining support and resistance, just simple things. Uh, Comparing it in my trading view chart, and then if it kind of like breaks the support or resistance, and then gives a sell signal at the same time, then it could. Then I take it and I test it out. So at the moment, I'm testing this out. So just in the works, but just kind of exploring other options. While Forex has been a bit boring, I would say, because of what is happening in the world. Because in the Biden era, it was kind of easy. You would just put a forward order, you'd go to sleep, and in the morning you would be in profit. Um, so I would catch a lot of sniper entries. But at the moment, with things going on, I can't really leave forward orders. So I've kind of adapted to that. And that's the thing with in this business, you got to learn to adapt to your strategy. You don't have to change it completely, but just make a few tweaks to adjust to how the market is moving at the moment. Um, and New Zealand yen is the one that I'm in. So if you look in the forum over here, I think I shared it. So anyone who has not been following us in the forum, please go in there because we are literally sharing trades every week. And there's other members sharing here, Paul, as he's doing, Dan as well. And you can see my trade somewhere in here. So this is on Sunday, literally before the market opened. I told you that is one pair I'm keeping an eye on, New Zealand yen, and it's my favorite head and shoulder pattern. And it's done a breakout, and I'm looking for a confirmation to basically enter the trade. And over here, where is it? New Zealand yen. So I got my confirmation on the 1 hour because I didn't have to be on the higher time frames. And this is the pin bar bearish engulfing, literally how I show it to you in my course. When you look at the course, I know there's a few problems that have been flagging up, and my course has disappeared and is there in the back end, but we just can't figure it out how to put it back on because we've tried everything, and it's to do with the plugins. So it's really our website, and basically when it updates the servers, the other things break down randomly in different places. And then we sometimes come to know from members that this part is not there or this part is not there, but we are aware the rookies corner is kind of not showing the posts, and also my strategy has disappeared. But we're basically working on shifting the website to a new server and a new layout, so it's going to be looking all pretty new very soon. We're working at the moment with some people, and it's kind of going to be a new platform as well, and maybe we might have a mobile app. So that's what I got from there. So let's see, that looks very promising. So, you guys have been asking for some kind of a new layout. You want the access on the mobile phone. So maybe you'll be now able to see the forum on a mobile app. So you don't have to go on a desktop, log in on the website using the browser on the phone. So all good things coming. We just need you to be just a bit more patient, and it's all going to be there soon. Just a few more weeks, I think. I don't know how long they're going to take to upload everything, but at the moment we're working on it behind the scenes. So just bear with us for a few things. But if you have any questions, just ask me here in the webinar, or just send me an email or raise a help desk ticket, and we'll get back to you very soon. So this one here, bearish engulfing, that's what I got in, and I left it overnight, and this is now I think it's about 70 odd pips in profit. It's about, yeah, 70. My official take profit target is over here, 160. But I do know that there's some spikes into here where price has reacted in the past. So I will take most of my profit around to 1 to 2 when I hit that. And then I'm going to leave a little bit to run to see if I can get a little bit more. Um, but if you look at this, like New Zealand yen, if you look at Aussie yen, they look literally the same, apart from the head and shoulder on the Aussie yen. But this one has broken and is trying to make a new low over here. So if you look at structure, we have made a new low, lower high, and this is possibly going to be the new lower low on the daily. If it closes below that line, and then we can have a free fall over here. And uh, and that's what I've been saying. Like the short on the yens is much more attractive than longs because of the yen intervention scenario. So if they are going to intervene, they're going to intervene to sell, isn't it? I mean, sell the other currency and buy the yen. So that makes the yen stronger. So it's basically kind of going in my favor in a way. Um, so that's what I will be looking at on the Aussie yen. It's not ready just yet. Missed to make a new low. I guess you could take it straight away, but the stop is quite big on this one. It's about 130. So the risk reward is less than 1 to 2. So ideally, what you want to do with my strategy is great because you would need a pullback, lower high, and then take it somewhere in here so you get a better stop. So we can wait for the lower high, wait for a better stop and a good entry, and then you could look to take the shot. And then from 130, I think it goes down to probably 89. So that's much better. You're hitting almost a 1 to 3 on there. So that looks really interesting. So New Zealand yen, that I'm going to leave it for a bit. I have also taken some partial profit on it, which I forgot. I had 1.5 lots, and basically it was coming to the range, and the spikes is what I saw, and I thought, what if it just basically reacts to that and goes back up? So I took 0.5 off, and I've recorded in the video, which I'll post later. But what we can do now is I want to reduce my risk, so I'll just put it just above the entry and I'm going to make it basically risk-free, the trade. So just manage that. So I've taken some off. And pound New Zealand. So I was looking to long this, but we had no pullback. And at the moment, the higher high is there. So we need a higher low because you can see a trade when it goes, it always makes higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So this is no different over here. It's exactly the same thing. We now need a higher low to then enter here so that we can take it back to the upside. Quite simple, right? So it's just about the patience. That's what most of the um, traders lack sometimes, and even I did in the early days. But I've kind of like it's kind of embedded in my head that this is how the market moves, and you got to be patient and not just enter over here when everyone is kind of looking to sell, and then you're on the other side of the trade. Um, but the price is bullish at the moment, so we will look to take a long. Aussie Swissy, this one I really like, and this is significant. If you look at the weekly candle, huge area of resistance. Let me delete this. Keep the charts clean. Huge area of resistance. I was looking for the short, but that did not happen. And the price has made a new high over here and has closed above the area of resistance on the weekly. So this is huge. And remember, I showed you the pound Swissie and the dollar Swissie as well have broken out. So this one has also broken out on the weekly time frame, and now it's on the pullback. I mean, you could use a Fibonacci. At the moment, I'm just focusing on structure, but it's in the area, and ideally, I would like some kind of confirmation to end this trade. And tomorrow you have the news, so I want to kind of wait and see. But I do think this is going to continue to go up higher. If inflation is higher in the Australia compared to the Swissy, and the interest rates are higher, what does that mean? It's just basically the Aussie is going to be stronger, and it's basically in an uptrend at the moment. So it's definitely going to go up higher. That's what I think. Would be surprised if it goes down because of all the fundamentals and everything. All the technicals are lining up over here. This is a slow pair, so just be aware. You can see that it is on 50 pips today, so it's done the range. Um, More than the range. 33 is what it does. So if you want to take the long, I would say it's a good place for the long over here. It's a 45 pip stop, and you are basically looking to take it back up. But there is that news tonight, so just be aware. Euro pound, this one I think maybe Dan had a lose on this. Yeah, he was not wrong about the trade because it broke out, M2 breakout, pullback. That's where you would take a long. I was just not convinced with this. Sorry, give me 1 second. I need to cough. I was not convinced with this because it had this trend line in here. So if I'm taking the long into there, there's no point really because this is just 20 pips, and I want to get a big chunk out of it. Um, so yeah, I would rather wait for this to clear out first and then look to take the trade. But you can see that, look at the timing of it. I mean, it kind of broke out, did a fake out, and then has come back inside again. And it's in between the boxes I've drawn as well. It's kind of like in a range. But ideally, if it breaks out above the triangle, and you can see, I think Mark pointed this out in his weekly analysis as well. Um, the this triangle here, and the triangle is getting squeezed slowly and slowly. So if it breaks out when it comes into here, then we are good to take along. CAD yen, very similar to the other yen pairs, but risk reward wise, I think it's not that great. I don't know. I think I need to pull back into here to then take a short. But there's no entry signal just yet. I think it's not. No, at the moment it's not anywhere near. Let me put it bottom of the list. New Zealand USD. Yeah, it's a short. I'm waiting for the pullback. Dollar Swissy. So this one, yes, is broken on M2 above the EMAs, but with support and resistance, when I look at this, it is also coming up to this resistance level. So I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of reacts there and comes down again. But I would look to take the trade here at 80.20 because then that could be the higher low to continue the move back to the upside. It's a bit like here. Um, it comes in there, makes a higher low, and then goes back up. So I'll wait for the breakout, but also the pullback in here to take a long. And then pound CAD, I was looking for a possible counter trend trade. Um, this one I didn't take, I think, because of the news, but I just kept it there just to remind myself. I could have got into it before. Um, this one here is a small range, and price has reacted strongly in here. So it's for the range traders. You could look to short at 187.80, and it's about a 60 pip move. So it's a day trade, and at the moment it's not really giving anything on here. So I wouldn't really bother at the moment. It needs to come back in here, then it's worth it to trade a range. Pound Swissy. Um, Yes, high. I need a pullback into here to long. And then the other ones, I don't really have anything else on the other ones. They look a bit ugly at the moment. Um, New Zealand cat was pointed out by someone in the forum, and I mean, it's kind of valid because he is looking at the area here. But then remember so it would have been taken out. But then remember when I said about this pair is correlated with the New Zealand USD. Where is New Zealand USD? And it moves in the same direction. So this one came into the EMAs over here. But the odd thing is you need to notice about correlation. When both pairs are moving in the same direction, that's good. But if one is going in the other direction, that's a red flag. And it was kind of a red flag for me, but it met all the rules. I didn't take it up in the end, but New Zealand USD was the clue because it's a huge candle here and price is just continuing to go down. So that will have been copied on this pair as well because this cross pair is not real. It's just basically made up of the base pairs, the New Zealand USD and the USD CAD. And basically whichever one moves more, that's how the price is decided. So you have to divide over here. New Zealand CAD divided by, so the price of New Zealand USD divided by USD CAD. And then it basically gives you this price over here at the moment that is quoted. Um, right. On to Earth and Sky. Any questions so far? Tax increases, demonstrates tax increases are likely as welfare spending goes up. Burnham is expected to loosen the fiscal issues. Yeah, I mean, that's what Labour is known for, isn't it? They increase the taxes. I mean, the mad stat that I saw is that the people in, so the amount of money they've collected in tax is slightly less than the amount of money they have given in benefits to people. So I think it's very astonishing figure. So they're giving away more money than they actually collect in tax. So it's kind of mad. But yeah, that is, and on the back of that, the Rachel race was like, yeah, we are just investing in our people. And I mean, I remember Mark saying a few years ago, the unemployment is going to rise globally because of AI and other things coming into the business. And even I was affected by it when I was in my previous role in a corporate job. They introduced this new software that was going to cut jobs and it basically trying to automate it. It kind of failed badly when I left as they moved back to the old system. But, you know, how do they keep the people happy if there are going to be high number of unemployed people? Well, just give them a paycheck. And he said it like about 3, 4 years ago. And, it's kind of happening. You can see, and Swiss have already done it, the Swiss nationals, the government. They just paid people, and we saw it in follow as well, just to keep the employment figures good, because when you're followed, it would count as you are working because they're getting paid. So that's one way to kind of like keep the unemployment figures, manipulated. Grant says that is really useful. Actually, which news site would you use? To be honest, Grant, I don't pay a lot of attention to news. I've kind of moved away from that thing of looking at every single piece of news and trying to make my mind about which trade I'm going to take. And I think the more you trade among the years, the more you realize the news is not even a big part of it. And I've come to realize that a couple of years ago. And I'm slowly moving away from it. I'm paying more attention to technicals. I know, like, you have to pay attention to news. I keep an eye on the news. I know what is going on, but I don't base my trade on that. I think that's very important because when you base the trade around the news, you are just kind of like trading retail moves, and not the bigger picture. So pay attention to, I would say, structure is very important, and look at the technicals. And I think that's already a lot giving you clues about what could happen next. And I think the news basically follows the fundamentals or whatever news comes out. And I've seen that many times. The technicals will give you the clue or the confirmation, and then a few hours later the news comes out and it literally goes bang in the direction you're intending to trade. Uh, but yeah, Devon says baby pips have a good page on economic news. Yes, I think they have a lot of free stuff. So yeah, just research and see which kind of applications are uh, trustworthy. And Forex Factory at the moment, I think, is at the bottom of my list. I just keep it to just have a look at the economic calendar. And there's some days when I don't even look at the news feed. It just goes on and on. Um, but yeah, so Earth and Sky, last thing. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat box. So we have Pound New Zealand over here meets all the rules, and we are looking for a pullback into here. This is the Earth and Sky zone, and then you're looking to basically trade back up. So remember I said I need a pullback on Pound New Zealand over here. And look what PI is watching as well, a pullback into here. So two strategies telling you literally you need to wait for the pullback to take a long. And there's a whole round number in here. So that looks really good. 1 second. Right. I've had a bit of a cold and it's not going. And I'm going on a holiday tomorrow. So I will be trading from Canary Islands. So that will be exciting. Uh, let's see if I can catch another trade or just keep on holding to this one. So I'll manage it while I'm on my holiday. But I will be working from there. And yeah, I'll send you some pictures on the forum. So have a look. Um, I booked a horse riding experience, and it kind of looks scary at first, but then it's a three plus year olds are allowed. So I was like, okay, if a 3+ year old is allowed, I can surely do that. So I've not told my wife about it, but I booked it on my birthday, and I know she's gonna be a bit scared at first when I tell her. So I'm not told her. I'm just gonna take her there, and I'm gonna. I booked two tickets, so it's a horse riding experience. So let's see what she does. I mean, she's a brave woman, but I'm not telling her what I'm gonna be doing on my birthday. So yeah, I booked that. Right. Anyway, Aussie cat. Where are we over here? There. So we're looking to basically look for a long. Surely this is. Hey, this is not flagging up. I'm not sure if this should be another sky trade because it's a bit messy and it doesn't meet the light signals on mine. Let me just look at Pierre's post just to be sure. Because sometimes it depends on the brokers sometimes. Like it can flag up. Where was I? Oh, he has it as a Earth and Sky. So he's looking at plan B as well. And he's basically looking for reaction. For me, I feel like this is a lot of roadblocks in the way. And I think if you look at M2, remember I said about um, if New Zealand is going down, this is the same thing. If this is bearish, then Aussie CAD is probably going to go to the downside a bit more. But what you would look at as well is the weekly support too. And I think that's more of the area what he's looking at on this pair to take a reversal. So that's what you could be looking at. Aussie Swissy, I really like this one. So like I said, I'm looking for the long on this pair and it's on Earth and Sky as well. And it is 56 round number is in here. So basically I would look to long. So this is the top I think pair in my list. 30 pip stop and you could be looking to take it back up. I wouldn't be so concerned about holding it for a number of days because you do get paid positive interest on this pair. So it's a double winner on there. 2 in 1 trade. Um, Aussie New Zealand is 120, 160. I really hate this pair, but it's flagging up on Earth and Sky, and it is everything that I actually look for in Earth and Sky, so it's really weird. But it looks good. That's what I would say. Um, you could look to long here. I don't think the stop loss is big. 40 pip stop to take it back up. And it has been at all-time highs quite a lot, but both the pairs are weak at the moment. So it is your guess is as good as mine, which way it's going to go. But the technicals are telling you to long, so go with that. Then we have the pound EST. So I am looking to take the short at 133, and that's what the area is. So I will be looking into that. And then you have New Zealand USD. So literally the same place where I am looking to take the short on um, M2. And this is the Aussie Swissy I was going to show you on M2, but I've already shown you that. Um, right. Any questions? Grant, rookie horse rider dies in a rare accident only. Well, I've made my insurance, so just to cover myself on the holiday. But I saw, one thing I saw on the new thing on insurance policies on travel insurance is that now it says on there. So basically, if the flight cancel the flight based on there is no fuel, then your insurance isn't valid. I was like, what the hell is this? The insurance is made in the first place to cover yourself for those kind of circumstances, but it's just a money making thing. They're just including every possible clause they can to not give you your money back. But I've done it anyway. In the first place, I only paid like £16 for it for the both of us. But it's just to cover ourselves for anything else in case the flight cancels on the way. But at the moment it's scheduled, so I'm not going to jinx anything. Um, Rudolph says, hi Ashley, Earth and Sky question. The educational material stipulates that you should fib 50, 62.5, which are not the usual fibs. However, in your analysis, you use the normal fibs, i.e. not is what is shown in the course, which is correct. No, you're right, Rudolph. You have to, for the Earth and Sky, PI uses 50, 62.5, and 75. But I know because I'm not using different profiles. I'm just using Mark's fib. So 78.6, 61.8, and 50%. But I know in the back of my head, 62 is just around in here, and then 75 is just around in here. So it's not a big thing. I'm just kind of like using that in the back of my head. So I have a clue. Uh, but it's not a major thing. Because I have to change my fib settings all the time, and I use one profile. I don't really do that. So that's literally it. But yeah, use the Earth and Sky levels. It's just a fib level, so it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, if you're following Earth and Sky strictly, then yes, you can change. So if you want to do that, you can have a profile for Earth and Sky 1 and then one for M2. So you can select your profiles over here. So profile, and then you can save as profile whenever you're in a different one. So you can choose in there. But yeah, it's not a major thing for me. I just know that the levels are just a bit higher in here, and 75 is just in here. So not a big thing. Posting the forum now, as we have a couple of potential setups. So okay, have a look at the forum, guys. Pierre is posting, and then Grant says, Ash, why are you so anti-PS certain Skyro? I guess I started. I'm not anti-Pierre. I'm sorry if I've come out in that way, and sorry, Pierre. But I love his strategy, and I've just, I guess it's just that I have studied with Mark in private, and I learned M2 at the start, and I did learn at the Sky, and I get a bit overwhelmed with Earth and Skies sometimes because there's so many setups, which is good. But then in the early days, I realized when I was taking the setups, I should take quite a few, and it would be more Earth and Sky because it always has opportunities. And then, the thing I was not paying attention with Earth and Sky was correlation, and that was my bad. And it's not the strategy's mistake. And over the years, I have just tried to stick with one strategy. And I do use Earth and Sky from here and there. And I think at the moment I'm figuring out is how to counter and trade, like how Pierre does. And in weeks where I don't get any setup on M2, I will use Earth and Sky. Like I will look for the strongest setups on there and I will go for it. Like Aussie Swissy is one of them. It's flagging up on M2 and Earth and Sky, so I will look to take that. And for example, in a week where I don't get a setup on M2 or anything, I will look to take a pair like this, where weekly pivot is in there, Earth and Sky Zone is in there, 50% Fib is in there, so everything is in there. Like for example, New Zealand USD, that would be a setup. But yeah, I use it as a second strategy for me. So I know how to trade it, but if I'm in a trade, I will not look to add multiple positions ideally. I want to stick with one or two at most per week because before I used to take probably about 7 trades a week, and now I've cut it down to about three. So I've improved a lot on patience, and I definitely wait to see how trade plays out first. Um, yeah, Grant says horse riding is a lot of fun. You will have a blast. Enjoy the well-deserved break. Thank you. Thank you, Grant. Answer was in the forum post today. Just have a look about the fibs. Okay, he's updating you on that. And Rudolph says, okay, makes sense, Ashley. Thank you. And Grant says, Rudolph, is this I found is to have both templates load M2 on one chart and Aaron Sky template on another. Um, yeah, I think oh no, he's only joking. I was like, what is that? Oh, are you only joking about yeah, I got you what I mean. Yeah, that's what I do, isn't it, at the moment? So I have Atan's Khan one, and I think I will need to join the webinars, ask them if they want that. Uh, is that Pierre to me? Yeah, I mean, I want you in the webinar, but I think you have some family priorities you were saying that you need to take care of at the time of the webinar, so you can't make it. But yeah, if you can join us, that would be great. Like you can start doing the Earth and Sky. I can do half an hour and then you can take over from there. So we can both do it off in the future. And Rudolph says he has to go. And joking about it dying. Oh, yeah, man, I'm not worried. I mean, it's a guided tour, so I guess, they will be there. And it's something like a 1 hour thing. So, yeah, I've never done it. So I want to try it. It's a once in a lifetime thing. But I'm sure I'll have fun. Um, okay, right, guys. So, yeah, Mark is a bit busy this week, but you have the forum and just join us in there and you will see our trades in there. And I will be, yes, uh, taking my laptop to Gran Canary and that's where I'm going. So, I will be active there because Mark is busy. So I will be taking my laptop and working from there and also doing a lot of things around there. So not just trading, but just having a bit of fun. And I will update you if I see anything else. But I've already shown you in the forum, I've shown you at the start of the week. So if you're struggling with trades, just join us in there and you will see other people as well showing the trade opportunities. So, yes, thank you all. Thank you, Alvin. I'll enjoy my trip and see you all soon in the forum. Take care.